Good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I haven't been here for a while. I didn't put up much last week. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving week. I didn't put much up because, well, I put a lot up over on the Patreon channel. So, for those of you on the Patreon channel, yeah, you saw quite a bit. People on the YouTube channel didn't see quite as much. The kids were home for all week. Well, they were out of school all week, and when the kids are home, that's what we concentrate on. We did all the family stuff. It's just great having them around. I want to talk, but they're back in school today. So let's talk about surviving the chaos. The coming chaos, there probably is some, and any chaos coming down the road because as things get more complicated in the world, chaos increases, right? So I see. I've kind of kept touch. I haven't really gotten into it because I didn't care that much. I've read the headlines in the news, and I've read the headlines of a lot of YouTube channels and videos, and I see all the things that people are still concerned with. They're more than concerned. They're consumed with it. They're consumed with, oh, I see that the world war that was supposed to start every day still hasn't started. And now people are concerned that the wars that didn't start, why not? What's going on now? And it seems like the fear mongers can always find a negative behind any positive. Now we're seeing things pop up in Syria. Yeah, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Um, I'll tell you why in just a second, why I don't care and why you shouldn't care. But I will tell you how to get ready for the chaos, because chaos is coming, and there's always plenty of chaos to be had. And it's how you approach it, how you deal with it, that determines how well you're going to do during it and on the other side of it. So I see that the biggest non-surprise of the day was that Joe Biden pardoned Hunter. Okay, I see everybody talking about this. I see. You might hear Kelly's watching the news in the other room. That's all they're talking about, and one person after another comes on and says, "Well, this just proves he just lied," and all this big news, right? Well, I'll tell you the next thing. He's going to pardon his brother. He's going to pardon himself. Okay, that's all we need to talk about that. That's all we need. Um, why would you want to spend more mental energy and invest more emotion into any of these situations? We're headed on a different path. A new team is coming to town pretty soon. That causes not concern about the team itself, but during the transition, we're going to see things happen here that are going to have very possibly long-term negative effects on our country. Um, okay, okay. Is that different than any other time? Well, not really, not really. Things have always been more complex than most people understand. So just because people are feeding themselves more with it and consuming it more and getting all anxious about it, doesn't mean that it's worse than it's ever been. It just means that more people are upset than have ever been because they know about it more. Okay, um, people who are driven by this, anxiety, and I put up today. Every day I start the day over on the Patreon channel with a saying or a Bible verse or something like that. And today's was about anxiety and attaining the peace that surpasses all understanding. You should live in a mental peace that other people around you just can't understand. Okay, or to be honest, none of this stuff should bother you. Now I know that that's not the way to build a big viewership, because people want to be upset. They want to be consumed with this, right? Um, Anxiety is an element of fear. It's the product of fear. Fear comes first, and then anxiety. So people who are anxious about this stuff a lot of times won't admit that they're fearful, but that's exactly what they are. They're fearful. And those people who are fearful are easy targets for the fear mongers, the ones who will dish out the daily fear for the fearful to refill their fear reserves for, and continuing on through life in the anxiety that they apparently prefer. I hope that that's not you. If it is, here's the thing: people who are fearful, who are anxious, they use their fear and their anxiety supplants action. Okay. Now, many people will say that fear is a great motivator. No, it's not. It is not a motivator at all. It is a oh yeah, it might it might motivate you from running away from the lion, right, or the bear, but no, it's not a great long term motivator. Responsibility and having goals and having dreams and things like that, those are motivators. That doing the things that you know you should do. Somebody I heard say one time, I don't need motivation to go to work. I have a mortgage company and such to motivate me to go to work. Well, see, that's what real motivation is. It's an understanding and acceptance of the responsibilities you have in life and then going about it. Well, you've heard me say, if you've been with me for any length of time, that preparedness is responsibility. It is the ultimate responsibility. It is the ultimate irresponsibility. That is the motivator. People who motivate as a result of their responsibility and feeling of responsibility tend to do very well. People who are motivated by fear tend not to do very well at all, because they are on that emotional roller coaster of one fear after the next, after the next, after the next, and they're constantly involved in this internal conversation with other people about, can you believe this? Can you believe that? Can you believe this? I was sitting with some people not long ago, and if you hadn't heard the words, you would have thought that there was a conversation going on. There wasn't, and I didn't participate in it. I just kind of listened. They were people who they were talking about politics and the ways of the world, and they were very energetic, very effusive. They weren't really discussing anything. They were just throwing back and forth bad things that had happened under Biden and Obama and all this. And can you go, well, yeah, they did this, and yeah, they did this, and yeah, they did this, and yeah, they did this. This is much like the constant serving up of fear that people get so often in the preparedness community. We know those things. Okay, it's not a discussion. There was no discussion on solutions for these things. It was simply a way to fulfill their need of recognizing bad things and sharing it and talking about it. If you do that, if you concentrate on the bad, you're never going to attain the good. That is it's as simple as that. Now, does it mean that you shouldn't recognize and address the bad? No. You should recognize the negatives in life, and you should address them by overcoming them, by planning how to overcome them. Okay, this has happened. This is bad. Biden, it's just like the Biden pardoning his son. Okay, that's pretty much all that needs to be said. And yes, yet this is going to be the subject for any number of talk shows today and the news. It's going to be 24/7 about Biden pardoning Hunter. Anybody who didn't know he was going to do that, oh, he gave his word. This just shows that his word's no good. What, you needed this to show you that his word's no good? Like I said, we've already said more about that than is necessary, because he's corrupt. We knew that a corrupt person does corrupt things. This is corrupt, and so he did it. But it goes back to, what are you going to do? How are you going to prepare to deal with the chaos? The thing is to understand that chaos is going to come. It's going to whirl all around you. It's just like a hurricane. Okay. Now you have the choice. It's up to you whether you're going to be in the wind or whether you're going to be in the eye. Okay. You don't have to, and a lot of people want to be out there in the wind. They want to be in the drama. They want to be in the whirly, the rain and the wind and the flooding and all that. And yet, as you all know, the eye of the storm is calm. You want to stay in the eye. Why? Because that's where you can get things done. If you're in the hurricane itself, if you're in the winds and the rain, all you're trying to do is survive. And sadly, that's what too many people in the preparedness world are always trying to do, just survive. Now, it's different with many of the people here on this channel and definitely over on the Patreon channel. By the way, I should invite you, if you're not with us on the Patreon channel, we invite you over. You're going to get so much that you'll never get on YouTube. And the reason that I do that is simply because I know that the audiences are different. And the people who have invested $1 a month to come over and learn and be a part of a positive community, they not only get a lot from it, but they add to it. Okay, so if you are one of those who really is a positive person, wants to really learn how to prepare better, and wants to improve your life every day, you belong on the Patreon channel. The link is down below, and we put a lot more over there. But anyway, it's here. Even though I see so much negativity throughout the world, in the preparedness world, I don't see nearly as much here on these channels. As a result, the people here tend to do a lot better. When I go through, I read every comment that somebody leaves. I don't always answer all of them. I just don't have time. But I read every comment, and I see the difference between the comments here and the comments on other channels. And I see elsewhere a whole lot of fear, a whole lot of kind of reinforcing each other's fear, shall we say? And that's even worse, because when you get in a reinforcing circle of negativity, that's a difficult circle to get out of. It's just like, if you are involved in a continuing feeling of negativity or depression or whatever like that. I said, I think on one of the Patreon videos the other day, I heard a quote from Trump. It was a great one. He says, the cure for depression, I'll tell you how to cure depression. Go work your ass off. You won't have time to be depressed. That's the thing. If you find yourself fearful, if you find yourself anxious, if you think that the world is just going to hell and there's nothing that can be done about it, that's the circle of negativity you're going to remain in. However, if you accept the responsibility of determining your own future, your own life, you're going to be so busy doing that, you're not going to have time to let all of the negativity around you, the chaos around you, have a negative effect on you. Okay, that's the difference between, and that's why really most people who I see, anyway, who claim to be preppers, they're not preppers at all. They're just consumers of doom and gloom. They for whatever reason, I could get into. There's a psychology there that I don't care to get into right now. But they're not preparedness-minded people, as we say here, PMPs. Okay, the preparedness-minded person is the one who recognizes that the world can be challenging, that it can be chaotic, that it can be corrupt, it can be disappointing, it can be threatening, it can be all of those things. Okay, but the simple recognition of it, or the fear of it, doesn't do a darn thing about it. Okay, it's your positive response. You're sitting down and saying, okay, it's up to me to do what I need to do to ensure the continued quality of life for me and those who depend on me. And that's the decision that makes the difference between the warrior, the anxious, a lot of people out there, this just came to me, there's only a couple of letters difference between warrior and warrior. And so many people out there who think they're warriors are just warriors because they're just wrapped up in all the worry, right? So this is what makes the difference between the anxious and the fearful and the worried, and the ones who actually get out there and take hold of their own lives, assume the responsibility for building and then maintaining a high quality life. Um, and like I said, it's up to each individual. So, how to handle the chaos ahead? Don't be a part of it. Just don't be a part of it. Refuse to be a part of it. You're going to be surrounded by people, whether it's in your life, whether it's on the news, whether it's on YouTube channels, whatever it is. You're going to be surrounded by people in your life that want you to participate in this constant worry and negativity. It will tear you down. It's just like an addict. It's like a heroin addict. Okay, the heroin addict thinks that his next fix, or their next fix is going to make them feel better. Okay, well, it makes them feel better than withdrawing, and that's why so many have a tough time withdrawing. Same with fear focused preppers. They are fulfilled by the fear, and they think if I'm not going to be fearful, I'm going through that withdrawal. Oh my gosh, what do I have to fill my day with? What do I have to fill my mind with? Well, what you have to fill your day and your mind with is positive preparedness. Get out there and start doing things, not out of fear, but really planning and building something good. Okay, so it's just like the junkie that when he gets his fix, he feels better momentarily, just like the doom addict. Yeah, feels a little bit better when they get their latest dose of doom, but that fades, and then they start going through withdrawal, and they need the next one. They can't wait to click on the next story on one of the news aggregators or the or YouTube channels or whatever. They can't wait to get that next one, and it could be that the next person is saying exactly the same thing that the previous one did, but it fulfills their need. See, their addiction. Sadly, many of these people have addictive personalities. They need the negativity. They need the negative fix. If that describes you at all, try to get out of it. Try to get out of it. Realize that it's holding you back. It's keeping you from being everything that you could be otherwise. And it's only by escaping that and getting out of it that you're going to be able to really build something that most people claim to want to, and that is real preparedness. You come on, like I say, if you've read my books, I come at a horrible disaster from a very positive standpoint. And I show how a certain type of person, a person who really does take responsibility for their own welfare and future, those kind of people are going to come through it. And those challenges are simply going to be a part of life, situations that they deal with, while those situations will destroy others. If you are with us on the Patreon channel, you can see, you read a lot of the comments from the people, and you see how successful so many of them have been in their preparedness. These are very smart people, and they have been at it for a long time. They are not the fear-driven people that you see elsewhere. And that's another thing I should say for those of you who aren't with us on the Patreon channel. We'd love to have you, of course, but you will learn so much when you come over there. I've had so many people tell me that they say that's the best group they've ever found. It's totally positive. There is no arguing. There is no ragging. There's no tearing people down. There's no attacking. There is nothing but support and cooperation and helpfulness from some very, very smart people and very experienced people. We have folks over there with knowledge that you can't believe. And I love going to our Patreon channel because I learn a lot too, and so will you. So that's my open invitation to anybody who's not with us. The links down below, as are the links to my books, the Stone Mount series. I'm gonna be spending a lot of today signing a bunch of books, still trying to catch up on all the orders. If you buy my books through Amazon, they get them to you really quick. And you'll learn a lot. You'll love the books. But beware, they are positive. I address all the horrible things too, but I talk about how to really, I call them the complete guide for preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a complete collapse of everything. Or you can get, and that the Amazon link's down below, or you can get them directly from me. But I have to warn you on this, that if you order from me, it's going to take some time. I just keep running out. I'm sorry. It makes me feel bad that the people have to wait on my books, but it's we the books are very successful, and I get a bunch of books in, and then I get busy, and then I sign them, and I get them out, and then I run out, and more people keep ordering. And if you want them signed by me, and I love doing that, and I write a little note in there, and I love doing that. Though that link is down below through our website, stonemont.us. But just please be warned, it's going to take some time. So, if you want them fast, get them through Amazon. But anyway, concluding this, there's always going to be chaos. Always. There are always going to be people who want you to be fearful of the chaos because it's good for them. It makes money, to be real honest. It's up to you to decide whether you're going to approach your life negatively or positively. You'll always have people who try to pull you back. People, it's an odd thing about people. A lot of people don't want to see other people be successful. They really don't. I'll use an example. I used to run a training program that was very, very tough. Everybody in the world wanted to do it. It's kind of one of those things, everybody wants to do it until they have a chance to do it, and then they don't want to do it, right? When they see how tough it is. And one of the things that I would warn the people starting out, I said, you're here. A lot of people are going to think it's very cool. But pretty soon, you're going to have people trying to tell you to quit. And those people are going to be among your friends and your family, and that's going to surprise you. The reason is they are going to see such success and benefits in you, such development in you, that it's going to make them feel as if they are losing you. You're developing. You're going beyond the circle that they were comfortable having you in before. And they're going to tell you that you shouldn't be doing. They're going to actually want you to quit. See, because it's going to put you on a different level than them, and you're not going to any longer be satisfied with sitting around and in the same mediocrity that everybody else wants to, and you will be surprised. And it's the same in preparedness. A lot of people, surprisingly, you would think that people in preparedness would want to be helpful and supportive and actually better their lives. And that's, like I said, that's the way it is on our Patreon channel. But it's really not the way it is in preparedness. Most people in preparedness, but they're not really preparedness-minded people. They're simply people who like to splash in the shallow end. Most people really don't want to do much better. They just want to have something to worry about and something to complain about. And I hope that's not you, but if it is, try to break yourself out of it, because there is a much better life on the other side of that. And it's one that you can have if you just are willing to put in the work. So, wrapping this up, don't worry about the chaos. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be people feeding it to you. There's always going to be the fear mongers, the chaos mongers, all this, because they know that weak people respond to that. And there's far more, I know this sounds bad to say, but it's the truth. There are far more weak people than there are strong people. So that's where the money is. You have to go after the low-hanging fruit if you want to make a lot of money or have a lot of followers or whatever. But that doesn't do anybody any good except for the person making the money, right? Okay. Think about that. It's your choice whether to be in the chaos or not. Don't be in it. You don't have to be in it. Okay. You can separate yourself, and this is why we always say that the basis of integrative preparedness is to be able to separate yourself from dependence on all those external systems over which you have little or no control, Doesn't mean that you don't use it. Doesn't mean that you're not on the grid. It doesn't mean that you don't have running water. It doesn't mean that you don't have lights you can flip on. It doesn't mean that you don't have, whatever. You should. You should live the best life you can. But you should be able to live without it. Okay? All right. Chaos is coming. Chaos is here. Don't let it make you have a chaotic life. Okay? As we always say, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So get out there and do something good so you'll continue to live well in the future. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.